issues in the podcast world. We got to go back to Gil's arena. So first off, I want to say I'm glad that Gil's son is okay. He had that crazy accident in his Tesla. He did survive, and he is doing really good. They say he's out of the hospital now.
That's good.
Gil still hasn't been on the show, but the team has still been doing their thing. It's
holding it down.
It's good to have a cast that can manage when the guy isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
They can still manage content and all that.
Has the content been good? Have you been enjoying it just as much?
Mm-hmm. I was actually pretty surprised too. And then they can even manufacture their own kind of like beefs and conflicts independent of Gil.
That's good.
So I do want to bring this up because there's a guy on the show. We talked about him before the last time we talked about Gil's arena. His name was Rashad McCants. Mm-hmm. He's a former guard from the University of North Carolina. He won a national championship with them. And he's kind of getting riled up in some conflict with his some of his teammates and fellow alumni. So one thing about Rashad McCants, and I kind of just want to do a little summary of his career. He came out, he was expected to be a top player. He was a lottery pick, went to the Minnesota Timberwolves, didn't really, pan out. He had another opportunity in the Sacramento Kings, and then that was pretty much where his career was. He was like, notably, he like dated Khloe Kardashian. Like that was kind of like his kind of claim to fame, and it kind of also ruined his career because it made people be able to assume like, oh, he wasn't about basketball or whatnot. That wasn't like his priority. So that was kind of like the label that stuck with him for most of his career. Mm-hmm. So when he came out later on, and this was probably about a few years ago, may have been 10 years ago, I don't know now, but he came out and he exposed the University of North Carolina for like fraudulent classes. Basically saying like if you played on the basketball team or whatever, you got to get special classes that made sure that you were going to pass and it didn't challenge you and you really didn't get a college education. Mm-hmm. And that was like a big deal, and it kind of put a black mark on him in regards to him in the university because it was like you exposed like the common secret that everybody knew. Everybody knew college athletes are getting these kind of preferential treatment. Yeah. But you went out and said something about it. And, that delegitimizes all the people on the team in regards to what they could have acquired,
everyone
if they don't play basketball.
All of the athletes who went to that school in general.
I mean, yeah, but he was mostly just talking about the basketball in his article that came out about it. And so since then, he had always rubbed a lot of the, UNC guys the wrong way. And so it's this other podcast called, I think it's To the Baja, and it has Theo, Benson, and Raymond Felton. And Raymond Felton actually played on that national championship team with Raymond Felton. With Rashad McCants. All these guys got R's in their name. Mm-hmm. And so Rashad just did an interview where he was talking about a lot of it. And he was bringing up some of the stuff that happened, and they reacted to it. And they was violating. So I want to play a couple clips of it, and then I want to play Rashad's response to it. But it was wild. Like they had one point where Raymond Felton was dissing Rashad McCants to the ether beat. Like they played the ether beat in the background.
They were going off.
And they was frying this nigga up, calling him a loser, calling him all sorts of shit. It was embarrassing, but I have Theo Benson. Like I said, he's a former
nigga. Because at the end of the day, when you go to Carolina, bro, and you did something, you won a championship with a group of guys, they remember every single player from 2005. They still remember your stupid ass. But you know what they say when they say, Rashad McCants, can't stand that motherfucker. Guess what? I can't either. I think you're a hoe. I think you're stupid as hell. Shit. I think you're a coward. Because at the end of the day, for you to go to, if you never went to Carolina, to try to mend your relationship, I would have been like, cool, he just got a beef with Carolina. They ain't got nothing. But you trying to, and I bet you didn't tell anybody you did. And I think that shit corny as fuck. And you calling out teammates that's, how the hell does Marvin Williams not like you? Marvin Williams is one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. And you talk shit about Sean May, one of the nicest dudes ever. Don't have beef with nobody. And you an asshole, bruh. And you just don't take no responsibility for nothing. I don't give a fuck I wasn't on your team. But for you to disrespect guys that I fuck with and that I talk to, I take offense to that. And then you talk about my coach. Plantation? What the fuck are you talking about, bruh? You won a championship. Who the fuck do you think you are? First of all, you are delusional. I think the crown is cutting off your circulation to your brain.
Andy nigga who wear a crown in public.
You're wearing a crown in public, nigga. You look stupid. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. The hell are you doing, bro? Yeah. You're flat out silly. And guess what? Gilbert saved you. He saved you. Because guess what? Now you're on the show. You're doing a great job. They love paying you because you say the dumbest shit ever. You gotta have a dumbass on here to say some nut shit. So let's pay Rashad. That crown cutting off that circulation. So congratulations. You're doing a great job and you getting to the bag. I commend you for that. But at the end of the day, don't keep coming for the school when you try to come in there and amend your relationship and try to apologize to Coach Ware and do all this other shit. Why the fuck would they accept you? Fuck out of here, bro.
So, as you can see, it's really contentious. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he exposed a lot of that stuff that they were doing in regards to, you know, what the players were having going on. So, Rashad, like I said, he's on Gil's Arena. They do end up responding to it.
You ain't say nothing when the fat nigga jumped on. Why you ain't say when the fat... You ain't say nothing when the fat bitch jumped on. What I'm supposed to do when the fat nigga jump on me?
He talking about Raymond Felton.
What I'm supposed to do?
Raymond Felton gained a lot of weight after his career.
Find 99 other men.
Y'all talking about fighting a gorilla.
100 to 1.
I come in peace and unity. Okay? Whatever the podcast is, give them a shout out. Go watch it. I want y'all to judge it. Go to the thing and watch it. Tell me how y'all feel. I don't got nothing to say because they want to be where we at. And I want to bring them here. I want to get everybody up to our level.
Let's uplift.
But if you got to take shots at me to try to do that, it's going to look weird because everybody going to be like, hey, man, y'all wasn't taking these shots before Shy was on the show. Now Shy on the show, he wearing the crown, he talking his shit. Here come the Matrix agents. Here come Agent Smith and them. Let me get out of my body and act like a goddamn zombie. You don't know what kind of fight being fought, nigga. I'm the light. Don't you see it?
No, because I stay out of it because
the
way my brain works.
Right, so, yeah, they don't really go too much more after that. But I was thinking about, I listened to both of them, and I really have it's conflicting opinion on kind of both concepts of it, because I understand what Rashad was doing, but it kind of felt like when people use racism, but they don't be pro-black. When they be like, oh, these folks is being racist to us, but like the whole year you like, oh, you niggas need to stop being poor. And like, it felt like that because I know how his career panned out, and I know a lot of things that he talked about. Like he talks about before how a coach didn't let him average more than 20 points his freshman year because they didn't want no one to average more than 20 because that was Jordan averaged 20.
That's odd.
Like a lot of his shine was taken away. Like I think he was talking about one time.
Why wouldn't you want to be the coach who coached the person who averaged more than Michael Jordan?
So he tells a story about a guy who was like, they didn't like Jordan and the way he did things there because he made things a big deal about him, I guess. And so they didn't appreciate that, and they didn't want anybody else to come here and think, oh, they can be the next Jordan or whatever. So I think that was a large part of it.
Jealous of your big dicks. That's it. That's literally that's at the foundation of the thing.
So I understand like a lot of his beefs with hangups with that, where it's like he said he even had the coach stopped him when he was doing one of his career highs. They pulled him out the game early. So he couldn't break like the 3-point record or whatever like that. It was just stuff like that where he felt like they were purposely holding him back.
They definitely were.
So that he couldn't be the player that he wanted to be, and then he goes to NBA, that career doesn't pan out, so it doesn't really validate those claims. You know what I'm saying? So it makes people look at you a particular kind of way. So that's what I'm saying. It feels like you're only bringing this up. I guess that's what it does to those gentlemen as well, that you're only bringing this up because your career didn't pan out the way you wanted to. If it did pan out the way you wanted to, you wouldn't have been coming and try to be this crusade for saying, oh, these kids is not getting the right education here. That wouldn't have mattered to you because you would have been Big Hooper.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have had to rely on any type of education.
Yeah. On my other feeling that I have, to the Baja podcast, y'all sounded like coons. Like I listened to it and it was funny because when I first heard it, I like reacted to like the first 5 minutes of it, and I put the Steven from Django, where I was like, that's what y'all boys sound like on this podcast. Y'all sound like Steven. Y'all over here, oh, well, you ain't about the team, your team, all this like brainwash stuff that they tell athletes that they have to do to, you know, be a part of something bigger than themselves. it was funny because in the interview they were playing, he even described himself, Rashad McCants described himself as Django. He said a lot of these niggas is Steven. And I didn't even know he said that before I reacted with that, but it was hilarious.
The whole time he's the one that's Steven?
No, he's saying, well, I don't think Rashad is Steven.
Oh, okay.
I think that what he is doing is just out of spite. It's not out of you really care. Mm-hmm. You know, you're doing it because you want to scorn the university that you felt scorned you. So that's why I feel like
like Drake with UMG.
You can put it like that. Where it's like you only going back to it because now they didn't do you right or the way that you felt like they should have.
Yeah.
So that's why I understand why people look at him and being like, oh, you're not legitimate. But then to fight the point that he's talking about or try to speak against the point he's talking about, which they really didn't do. But for the most part, to do that is kind of like, what are you saying? Like, are you trying to say like y'all should be not getting real educations while y'all are at a big time state university? Because you've seen it before. You went to college. You've seen the athletes would get preferential treatment throughout school. The grades would be better. They'd be graded at a different curve.
I didn't necessarily see it because I didn't go to a school that was known for sports.
Oh.
Like the sports were just being played in the background. But like, that's not what my school was known for. But I know that that's a thing. I might be lying too. Also, I don't know. I don't know. Is UAlbany known for sports? I don't know. I don't think so.
But no, my school, it was known for football. Like, we were a big football school. And I had realized, like, if you had more than like 3 or 4 football players in your class, eventually you would get graded on a curve. Like, the teacher would be like, oh, I'm going to grade everyone on a curve. And it just, you know, so that they could pass. Mm-hmm. And I just started realizing that. And like, if you wanted to, you could actually find the classes that they would be in.
Yeah.
Try to get in there. And then that would help you pass.
Yeah. That would have been a strategy.
Because all you would have had to do is just do a little bit of the work. And then the curve would have bumped you up to either passing or.
Especially if you're in a major that like football players.
But that's usually like communication and stuff. Like, they never really have
like
real majors.
Business.
Barely. General studies. Niggas just be out there not getting
liberal
nothing.
arts.
But it's also a lot of struggles with that because Rashad McCants didn't necessarily go through this. But there has been like players who wanted to study pre-med and stuff like that. But those classes conflicted with their practice schedules. And so they may have not been able to do that. So
that's not realistic.
That happens though. I've seen
that's
that happen.
That's not realistic. You can't want to be a pre-med football player. You got to choose one.
No, you can't say that.
You have to choose one.
No, you don't.
Because both are too rigorous for you to do both. You have to, both of those things are things that you have to put 100% of yourself into.
I think
you have to put 100% of yourself into being an athlete, and the same for pre-med.
I'm not saying that, not pre-med. You can still focus on pre-med and still play football. People have done it. It's not common, but people have done it. But you
have to be a super person.
I think what the point you're missing, what I'm saying is the fact that they were stopping players from doing that and hindering players from being able to do that is an issue.
It is an issue.
That's the thing. That's the main thing. Because if I want to go there and I want to say, hey, I'm a top, prospect, or I'm a prospect that y'all wanted to give me a scholarship, I still want to get the education that's available here at this university. So if I want to be pre-law, pre-med, whatever, engineer, you need to facilitate that and still work around that schedule or make sure these classes are in a way that works with our schedule so that I can still do both. Because that's what you signed me here to be a student athlete. Mm-hmm. And now with the NIL, more of these guys are going to be less focused on that, of course. So that's why you're going to see these kind of conversations go to the back burner because it's going to be like,
because they get into that bag.
Yeah, they getting money now. Well, not all. I hate expressing it like that. The top players are getting to the bag.
Yeah, as they should.
So it's just a lot of stuff was needed because Rashad McCants was a big focal point in what we have now in regards to resistance to the NCAA. And I think that's important. But I just think I understand where the conflict just comes from just that mindset. Because being in a team, they really brainwash you. Like, especially, you really see it more in football. But basketball, too, they will brainwash you. They'll put you into this mindset where you should be thinking for the betterment of this program and not for yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a line of thinking of the past, especially for just the way sports are being performed now and the money that's being made. This idea to ask kids to sacrifice or be less than for the greater good it's just going to be.
It's a little. The football and sports and stuff are a little like too parallel to like slavery.
I understand that, but once
like
they start
the draft and like for for the betterment of the program instead of yourself and all that. Like when you put it all like that, it just seems like.
But see,
like very glamorous slavery.
Important because we need people to shine lights on this. So you can't shit on the guy for doing that. But then I can understand the hate that he was expelling to them too. But
then what they were saying, they said that he criticized the school, but then secretly went back to try to mend the relationship with the school without letting the public know.
And that wasn't true because he did say on Gil's Arena that he was going back to North Carolina. He did talk about that on Gil's Arena. So
okay.
It wasn't that it was true. They just don't watch each other's shows like that. So they don't know what y'all
Maybe y'all
not
should
saying.
Watch the people you talking shit about a little bit.
I mean, they don't care about them. That's not what they going to do. But I appreciated it. I ain't going to lie. I liked it, man. Rashad McCants could have came a little bit better. I think was a little lacking. I'd rather him like
he just came up with the clothes
with the fit on
and like danced around it like a little bitch.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Cause they called you all types of bitches and all.
They put ether to your name,
like a bunch of stuff. They was in your ass.
I didn't play Raymond Felton's part, but Raymond Felton was bodying him. I don't want to play because I don't know if we get copyright because of the music, but
yeah,
he was bodying him, calling him all sorts out of his name, loser, all of this stuff. So I mean, Gil deserves better from you, Rashad. He deserves for you to give him a performance, especially when he's not there. We need to get the numbers up. You should have at least called one of them like some crazier names. You don't have to say their name. You know y'all got nicknames when you hoop with a dude. So just like call him some goofball name. Could have called Rashad McCants Meatball. That would have been funny.
And then your co-host is like trying to egg you on and trying to instigate, which I loved.
I appreciated that too.
That was great. He was like, if that was me.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin is really showing himself to be really good in this media space.
Yeah.
But I think that was pretty much all I had for it. But y'all boys gotta shaping up, man. I don't like this, man. It's rough.